Hello and welcome to Real Hi-Fi Help. So, a video finally about Nordost cables, the sound that they give, and this is my opinion based on having tried at least 50 cables. So, I think I've tried every single model several times on different systems, and I think that generally it's a lower budget to medium class brand. But with the Valhalla and Odin, yeah, you kind of get into the entry top class sound, but I just feel that generally Nordost is a very impressive sound. They make impressive sound, and where it really shines is where you get gear like Negra, and you have like a top Nordost Odin cable all over the place, because Verity Sarasto, that is then also on that system, also has Nordost Odin inside of the speaker. And yeah, when you do that with not just Nordost cables but a lot of other top cables, you just get this synergy effect where you don't have negotiation. So the big problem I have with Nordost cables in general is that almost every time I hear Nordost cables, it's like I wrote down here, it's almost always where you only have one or two Nordost cables, and everything else is like MIT or Cardes mixed together or some other brand. And that's what I'm hearing constantly when I'm listening to Nordost, that people aren't buying full Nordost cables and setting the same model all over the chain. If they did that, they would have more synergy, it would be more balanced, but it would also be a hell of a lot more expensive. So I kind of get it why people are doing the things that they do, but trust me, whatever brand you go with, Cardes, MIT, Fenden, Hull, Nordost, Audionote, whatever, you have to repeat that sound on every part of the chain, or else you just get the surface effect where it just almost bounces off. So you get this fast, what do you call it? Fast, urgent sound from Nordost, but then it hits something else, and then it just doesn't go deep into the sound. It just kind of skips, and then you get this other sound on top of it, and then you just get like lots of different sounds on top of each other, and so you never really get to understand Nordost and hear it for what it really is. And this is not just Nordost. I see this constantly when I visit people, that they constantly have 2, 3, 4 different types of cables from different types of brands on different model structures. So it just kind of destroys the impression of listening to a cable, because you're not really listening to the cable, you're listening to a big part of the cable, but also you're listening to, you know, parts of other cables, like affecting the sound like it's like a disease. So I've written a lot of things here that I thought was really interested in mentioning, and I just Nordost is just not really me, because mostly because of price. I mean, I wouldn't mind having top Nordost Odin cables on a really top transistor, or maybe even a pretty good tube system, but just think of the price. I mean, we're talking about the price of a house having a speaker cable, 2 power cables, and like 1 or 2 signal cables together with that. It's a price of a normal house for a normal citizen, probably living out of the city. But it's just, you know, when you're dealing with prices like that, it's just crazy, you know. And personally, I feel that with the lower models that Nordost makes, if I were to put together a whole cable, I mean, use the same lower class Nordost cable on every part of the system, I would still probably come up with something that costs as much as a car. Whereas if I just put, I don't know, summer cable Quadra Blue on everything on the same system, I could do it for like 1/20th of the price and still have about the same quality of sound. So I mean, it's just, again, price wise, I just find it crazy. I'd rather have Audionote. I feel that Audionote personally gives you a lot more value, and on top of that, a lot more real sound. So I wouldn't even bother with Nordost, and I kind of get it why some people bother with Nordost, because they probably got a good offer on it. And I know that some of the lower models, like the Vishnu, one of my friends actually made a power cable where he basically slaughtered a Vishnu cable and put a double Vishnu cable together on a set of what's it called, power cables, and then he used some better plugs, and yeah, then of course Nordost sounds a hell of a lot better. But I just feel that, to me personally, I wouldn't use Nordost simply because of the price, and I just don't feel that it's a really good, valuable product. I mean, they make really good, impressive sound at the top end, and when you use it with top products. But I mean, I would probably only buy it if I could get the most expensive Odin cables, and I could use it on, just like I said here, Nagra gear with Verity Sarastro speakers, and Odin was on everything, and I was a millionaire, and there wasn't any world hunger or financial problems or anything. I mean, that would be nice, but I mean, just price wise, it's just, I'd rather recommend AudioQuest, or maybe even better Cardas, because Cardas usually has a more warmish type of sound that kind of glues things together. Perhaps not at such a high level when you compare the top models of Nordost with the top models of Cardas, but it's also different price categories. So I mean, personally, I would just go for a mid-class AudioQuest instead of all of these brands here. But that's just my opinion. Maybe you guys have your own experience with Nordost or some other cables. You can tell me about it in the comments section. Remember to like and subscribe.